started because if we keep talking before recording, we're just gonna say everything and then for the podcast. Although I don't think that's gonna be a problem because we have a lot to talk about.
We haven't even started it yet.
Yeah,
but we kind of already started. Welcome to QGP.
Yeah,
the show with a working title still.
Yeah, QGP stands for Quality Gaming Podcast.
Exactly.
There's an asterisk after quality that says questionable quality.
So there was just a little bit of news.
A little bit.
Just a little.
Just a little. They had an entire hour-long live stream at 11 o'clock
Eastern time. Yes.
Eastern time on Friday. No, on Thursday.
Yeah, and then a 4-hour live stream about games. The Treehouse Live event on Friday.
Yeah, so sort of they announced there was an hour-long info dump on Thursday, and then like all Friday morning, there was about 4-hour kind of extended look at the stuff that they announced. Golly, I've been like so excited leading up to the live stream.
Oh, we both were.
I could not stop thinking about it. I was constantly like every half hour or so I would go to Google and I would see what new stuff has anything leaked? Is there any information I can any scraps I can feed on before the event? I was just so excited.
We're joined once again by Clover, by the way.
She's teething pretty hard, so there might be a couple parts where.
So what we're saying, hardware is what they started with. Well, after the 60-second countdown.
Yeah, which I don't know. I've never been like so excited for to get to a countdown.
Yeah,
and it was just. The anticipation was killing me, and like
only after a half hour of terrible music.
I didn't quite get to hear a lot of that.
It was so bad.
I kind of came in towards the end of that.
So let's just start. What are your thoughts on the system itself?
Well, let's kind of talk about before we get into that. Let's kind of talk about what they announced. So right off the bat. $300, $299, and region free, so no region locking.
Yeah, that's huge.
I'm pretty excited about that because sometimes there are like really cool games that only come out in Japan.
Now, if only Miitopia was headed to Switch.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think they're gonna unlock the 3DS anytime soon. It can happen. But I don't really see them doing that.
Because like Nintendo's old system used to be not region locked, so it's kind of returning to that. I think it was just recently that they started locking them.
Yeah. But
they also announced motion controls. That was a rumor before.
Yeah,
but that is now confirmed.
They had like an extended look at the Joy-Cons, which are the two controllers that you can slide into the sides of the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, I'm really into it. Like, I love everything about it.
I just like so badly want to hold them and pop them in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Like that might just be what I do when I get my Switch for like the first half hour.
Yeah. But I think one of the things that kind of spoke the loudest to me was they sort of prefaced the whole thing by saying that when developing the Switch, they took little pieces of every piece of hardware that they've made throughout the years, going straight from the NES to the Wii U, and they used that as an influence when designing the Switch. So they have a lot of similar elements.
Yeah, like they have like the two controllers built onto it, like the Famicom.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much the NES influence, but the Famicom more.
Yeah.
Like the ABXY buttons with the shoulder buttons. I mean, the controllers kind of resemble a Super Nintendo controller with just a little more streamlined.
The left controller more so than the right controller, but all the same.
I guess the right one though, it does have the ABXY.
Yeah, it's like because they're both shaped like face buttons, except the one on the left just has like arrows on it.
Uh, my one question: what was there from the N64?
I think from the N64 they had the world's first analog stick.
But that doesn't seem like real influence. Like that's just
Well,
something that is standard now.
well, there was that, and then also it was like I think the first controller to introduce Rumble.
Okay, sure.
Um, at least that's what they listed.
Okay, I couldn't. I was like so excited for.
I think more noticeable, I guess, of a comparison would be the C buttons, um, particularly on the left controller. But that's kind of a minor.
Yeah, I mean, especially since like the C buttons basically were the ABXY buttons just used for camera.
Right.
Um, the GameCube was hilarious though, as they finally addressed the handle, which we have actually talked about on this show before.
So
That was supposed to be for portability.
yeah, and I mean because it is a fairly the GameCube's a very compact system, so it makes sense, but it's kind of nice that we finally have like an official confirmation as to what the handle was for.
Yeah, I don't think it's really that like it's not streamlined though. Like the N64, I feel would be an easier system to move around, as would the Wii.
Yeah.
Like they're just smaller and thinner boxes. Like the GameCube sticks out because it is a cube.
Right. I don't know. I could. I'm gonna kind of stick with the theory that an item having a handle makes it feel more friendly.
Okay, sure.
Just because I don't know, something about the robot uprising is aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, so the obvious Wii inspiration was the motion controls. They're basically like this is basically the Joy-Cons are like the Wii Remote 2.0s in a lot of ways. And then the Wii U inspiration obviously being the entire system itself, because the Switch really is what the Wii U should have been.
Right.
So
because one of the big features that they touted with the Wii U was being able to play on the screen on the gamepad while someone else was using the TV.
yeah, which is still a thing with the Switch.
Yeah.
But now you can actually move around outside of like
Yeah,
I forget how many yards it was you could walk away from it, but
yeah. If you wanna go plane, train, or automobile, you can do that with the Switch. You don't have to try and plug your console into like a car.
NFC sensor. They didn't really give a good they didn't show exactly where it was.
No, he
touched it to the analog stick.
Yeah.
I don't think it's in the analog stick.
When he was talking about it, I think he was kind of pointing to the where the home button is.
Yeah,
on
but then
the right controller.
Then he put the amiibo on the analog stick. So I think he just messed up. But
yeah, or he could have just been just kind of like a generalization of hey, it's gonna be over here ish. I'm not sure.
Capture button.
Yeah, that's.
Which I think we all assume that's what that was for, but it's nice to have confirmation. And video capture will be a thing eventually.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that because.
That'll make our jobs easier.
Yeah.
In the future.
Yeah, because I really wanted to do a lot of 3DS gameplay type stuff. I think you know. I think you know which game. But this will make it a lot easier. Not having to fiddle around with third-party capture devices, which at least with our experience has been frustrating at best.
Yeah, and also extremely pricey. Extremely pricey.
I'm really excited about that feature.
Yeah, I am as well. IR sensor, the infrared for distance tracking.
Now, this it looks, from the way that they presented it, it looks like it's only in the one controller.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what that means for games.
Yeah. One of the we'll touch on this a little bit later when we get into some of the games that they announced.
Yeah.
But I think it was probably designed so that only one would have it at a time. So it comes in two variations. You can get it with the gray controllers, or you can get it with the neon blue and neon red controllers. And those are they're the two sets. So there's the gray, and then there's neon blue red.
Yeah, it has one of each.
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
I think when they first showed it off, I was a little weirded out. It's kind of a weird mix, but I like it. It's a nice pop of color.
Yeah, I think it makes it a little ugly. Like I like the controllers, and I'm definitely gonna get, because like you can buy extra Joy-Cons later. I'm definitely gonna get like the colored controllers as like my third and fourth controllers. But I think when I'm taking it on the go, I'm gonna want the gray ones. It's just more aesthetically pleasing.
If I can, I'm gonna try and pick up the neon bundle just because I like that pop of color.
I do. Again, I like those controllers better than the gray ones. I just think I like that better at like for a home console.
Right.
So.
I get you.
And I don't know what system I pre-ordered, because it was like 1:30 I think when we both decided to go to bed.
Yeah.
And I was so excited I couldn't sleep. And pre-orders were not up, by the way, when I went to bed. But I couldn't sleep. I laid there for an hour and I was like, I'm gonna check just to make sure they didn't just now go up, and they had. So only Walmart and Best Buy had them up. I didn't want to fight the Amazon crowd.
Right.
So I pre-ordered it at Best Buy, but our Hagerstown one was already sold out. So I had to do one at Martinsburg.
Oh boy.
So
that's gonna be
that's
gonna be an agonizing commute.
Yeah. Because I kept clicking. It's like, no, closer store. Go to the Hagerstown one. And I realized, like, oh, they're already sold out. Because, like, Hagerstown is, like, the Nintendo capital of the tri-state area. For whatever reason. So they didn't have images up as to which bundle I bought. So, and they didn't have it in the description. So I guess I'll know on the 3rd.
Yeah. And one of the more interesting things that they announced was there's a feature called HD Rumble.
That looks really interesting.
Yeah, so these controllers have such a fine-tuned vibration function in them that is supposed to be super precise. Like the way they demonstrated it was, if you were holding it up like a glass, you would be able to tell how many virtual ice cubes are in that glass, just based on the way that it's vibrating,
and also the feel of water once they poured it in there. So
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I expect it to be really good, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's going to be quite as accurate as they say.
Yeah,
I wasn't 100% sold on that.
I really don't see it as being much of a. I don't see it being much of a base for, say, a game. Something to base a game on. I see it as being more of an immersive tool.
Yeah, that would be really great for VR.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that people aren't going to find a way to mod the Joy-Cons into working with a PC.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be something that people are going to try.
I mean, if they connect via Bluetooth, I'm sure they'll absolutely find out. They'll absolutely find a way. But as of right now, we don't actually know how they connect to the system.
I think it's through Magic.
Yes, Nintendo Magic. You have to buy the link cable.
They also have wrist strap add-ons.
Yeah,
that like give you better looking shoulder buttons.
Mm-hmm. So the inside of each controller has these two kind of recessed shoulder buttons, the SL and SR buttons. And there's this wrist strap you can get that has kind of it rounds out the controller, and it kind of bumps. It has extended bumpers for the shoulder buttons, so it's a little easier to. But everything I've heard from hands-on impressions is that the controllers by themselves are surprisingly comfortable and seem to almost kind of disappear when you're holding them. So you don't really think about them.
Yeah, that sounds really neat.
Yeah,
I hope that is the case.
Which is like, just looking at it is kind of weird because they seem they seem pretty small.
They're smaller than like the Famicom controllers.
Yeah.
I mean, they look more like the Famicom Mini controller size.
And like one thing that surprised me overall was how small the Switch itself seems. It's a lot smaller than I expected it to be.
Yeah, which is both a good and slightly bad thing, I guess, for screen size. Did they say what the exact screen size is?
I don't know if they had an exact screen size. I know that it's a 720 resolution.
It looks just a little smaller than like the normal like 7-inch Android tablets.
I'd say it's probably maybe a 6.5 inch.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's a good travel size.
Yeah. Split screen is the only thing I'm a little concerned about.
Yeah, but I mean, if I think the main thing is that if the resolution is good enough and the frame rate is steady, then I don't really see it being too much of an issue.
Oh yeah.
Because one of the things that makes split screen gaming, at least for me, relatively uncomfortable is when you essentially like have or even quarter your available resolution, and then you can't see half as much as you're normally able to.
Yeah, as long as this thing can keep like split screen 60 frames per second on the go, I'm happy. For like Mario Kart or something.
Yeah,
but we don't want to get into games yet.
Yeah, not quite yet.
Anyways, back to the question I asked earlier. What are your overall thoughts on the Switch?
I am profoundly upset that I haven't been able to pre-order it, and that I'm not. It doesn't seem like I'm going to be able to purchase one until after they are available worldwide.
Okay. Well, I mean, just based on what you said, you've saved up. It sounds like you should be able to get one fairly early on.
Yeah. It won't be too long, or at least as long as as long as it takes for them to get back in stock. Although Reggie has said that there's, quote, not going to be a shortage of Switch consoles.
Well, I think he said they're not going to be as hard to find as the NES Classic Edition, which is really meaningless.
Well, they've got two strikes against them. They have the Amiibo incident, and
no,
they have the NES.
They have like 4, because like they also have the new 3DS. When those first came out, they had the special editions, and those were impossible to find. So
I only managed to get mine just because I was able to pre-order it.
Yeah.
Gosh, I wish I'd saved those $200 so I could get the Switch.
No, I love my 3DS. Off topic, I started playing Kirby Robobot last night, and
really?
I got maybe 10 minutes in before Clover needed me again. So
I was just gonna ask how far you got.
I'm at the casino now.
Isn't that level fun?
Did
you try it in 3D?
Yes, I did.
It looks amazing.
As soon as I got to the billiard table.
That is the best part.
I turned on the 3D, and it was
the
just
best
like
part.
It was anyway. I
Sorry,
really liked
tangent.
it. My thoughts overall. I'm super excited about it. I cannot wait to get my hands on this thing and try it out.
Yeah, those are my thoughts exactly. There's a whole bunch of events where you can go and try it out. I'm not so much interested in that just because it's so close to release. Like, I just want to own it.
Right. And the odds that you would have any sort of meaningful time with the system are very slim, because since they're only going to be like a few of these events, there are going to be hundreds, if not thousands, of people in line waiting to try out the demo for Breath of the Wild. Or
yeah, I feel like I would just feel pressured the entire time I was playing, and I don't want to play Breath of the Wild before I actually play it.
Right.
Like, I don't want any spoilers, or like, I know it's going to be a great game, so
yeah,
I can wait.
Gosh, is there anything else we can really kind of go on about it? They didn't show anything off about the
online play. We should mention they have a whole new online strategy.
Yes. So this is something that they mentioned that they're going to announce more. They're going to have more details on later. But
they have most of the details up on their site. Which I looked at.
Is that new, or
they just did that? Like, I think Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I've seen is that in
during the live stream they said that they're going to have a some kind of paid online multiplayer service.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they really said in the live stream. I think later on they mentioned that there's going to be a smartphone app where you can kind of manage.
Yeah, and that's included only if you subscribe to their online service.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the way that all consoles are going at this point. And to be able to run like bigger networks, this is the way to go.
Yeah.
So like while I don't enjoy paying, I guess it would be like a yearly fee for online play. It does make the experience a whole lot better.
Right.
Like Wii U's online is really not good,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like this could be. I think this is them pushing for a more online centric console.
Right. Because if it's something that you're paying for, then there's more of a kind of an urgency, at least on their end, towards making it a good experience for its customers. Whereas if it's something free that they're providing, there's not as necessarily as much of that.
Yeah, and with Splatoon 2, which we'll get into later.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a pretty big selling point early on. They're also going to give you the first. How many months did they say? 6 months.
I don't remember if they said how many months. I think they said until fall.
Which is basically 6 months.
Yeah.
Free to anyone who has it in that time. So,
So it just to kind of give you a taste of like, is this something that I do want to plunk down a subscription?
on the website, they did confirm that there is an NES and or Super Nintendo game of the month that you will get as a subscriber. Though I think you lose the rights to that game at the end of the month. I think that's how it works.
Yeah, so kind of a shared game that everyone can focus on for.
Well, because that's what PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Gold are doing as well. Like Xbox has games for gold or games with gold, something like that. They give you like 2 free games per month, and you actually do get to keep those games and play them as long as you are subscribed. So I kind of feel like this service is going to be cheaper too, which is probably a good thing.
I thought it was at least with my experience with PlayStation Plus, and I didn't have it for very long. But my experience was that you got to keep the game even if you weren't subscribed.
No, that is not the case.
Okay.
Your games get locked out.
Ah.
So, because I had it for a year and then I just wasn't using it enough. But like there were some games I really wanted to play and I forgot that I got them free through PlayStation Plus.
Ah.
So now they sit there on my PlayStation Vita hard drive. So what do you think the price point's going to be per year? Because it's $50 for a year of PlayStation Plus, and I think it's the same for Xbox Live Gold.
I'm not sure. There's a part of me that wants to say Nintendo's gonna be crazy and they're gonna try and do $99 a year.
What? What?
I don't know.
They can't charge that. No one would do that.
Well, I mean, it would really have to depend on what they're offering. Outside of multiplayer, are they offering discounts?
Oh yeah, discounts is part of it. Yes.
Okay.
Which is also part of at least PlayStation Plus. I have no experience with Xbox Live Gold.
Yeah, I think 50 is a good estimate.
Given that the Switch probably won't have as many big third-party online titles, and they probably won't be making as many online games as other first-party publishers might, I feel like it's got to be cheaper, especially since you don't get to keep the NES or Super Nintendo game.
Right.
And let's be honest, it's going to be like Super Metroid, a game that everyone already has played a million times.
Or already owns a virtual console.
Yeah, I have like, I think 3 copies of that game. I'm not even sure how.
Just across different systems.
Yeah.
And that kind of segues into a good topic. They didn't announce anything with Virtual Console.
No, they didn't, and I thought they might during the Treehouse Live stream.
Right. Reggie was asked about it and did say that they listened to their fans. And
Well, that was about Mother 3, though. Because he specifically said someone came up to me and asked about Mother 3. He's like, why don't you ask me about Metroid? Kind of in that joking manner, because that's what they always get asked. And he said, yeah, he's like, we do listen to the fans, we do read all the comment sections. Anyways, he was saying that he was reassuring fans that Nintendo knows what their consumers want, which I find a little hard to believe. But, and he said, like, let's talk about this in a year or something like that.
And see where we are.
Yeah, so he gave himself a deadline.
Yeah.
And the way he said it, it sounded more like he was talking about Metroid.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, it kind of seems like the team that worked on Mother 3 has had something to do with this whole event.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's just a coincidence or if they're actually working on getting Mother 3 over to the system. Are they working on Mother 4? I don't know.
I don't know though. I mean, they've said they're not going to do a Mother 4.
Yeah. Although, here's a thought: if the Switch isn't region locked, then you would just be able to get Mother 3.
Would you though? Because that's a digital game, and you're region locked as far as eShop goes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming that would be an eShop download only.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, it would be really hard to play without a very story heavy RPG, and not be able to understand anything that's going on.
Yeah. The beat based hits though.
Yeah.
That would actually work.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be like, because that doesn't work with emulators, but it would work with this one, but then you wouldn't be able to know what was happening story-wise.
I don't know what emulators you were playing on. I never had a problem with it.
That's what I've heard from people who have emulated it, so I haven't played it myself.
I don't know what they're playing on then. Trying to play it on their Texas Instrument calculator.
Just try to imagine playing Mother 3 on a calculator.
If they can get Doom on it, then they can get Mother on it.
Have they really gotten Doom on it?
Oh, I'm sure they have. Some form. They've gotten it on there at some form or
another. Should we move on from
Texas Instruments? Probably.
And online.
What's...
Do we want to get into software?
Yeah, I guess if we've forgotten anything about hardware, we'll probably circle back to it.
Yeah.
So what's the first thing?
Okay, so let's start with the launch lineup,
mm-hmm.
which is concerning. Very concerning.
Right.
The launch lineup is 1-2 Switch, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Bomberman R, Just Dance 2017, and Skylanders Imaginators. That's it.
Okay. I don't necessarily see this as such a bad launch because they have Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. That's like boom. That's their heavy hitter.
Yes.
They've got Just Dance, which I guess everyone can get into.
This is also last year's game though. Just Dance 2017.
Just Dance 2017 came out last year.
Yeah.
Oh.
They always do like the year ahead.
Oh, because sports.
Yep. Because sports. Because dancing is sport.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
As is Skylanders Imaginators. So these are both last year's games.
Okay. Well. Bomberman.
That's a very niche title, though. Like, I'm excited about that. I know you're excited about that. But that's not a heavy hitter. Nor is 1-2 Switch. I've heard a lot of negative things from Nintendo fans, unfortunately.
Yeah. I have mixed feelings about 1-2 Switch. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's get that's a good place to start. That's where they started. So
yeah, it doesn't really. They started off the trailer and it's got like two cowboys and they're about to do the quick draw. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're remaking that one game with from the NES where they shoot guns, and you're like, Wild Gunman.
When I first heard the music, because it started in black, like it was a black scene, I was like, wait, is this Dylan's Rolling Western 3?
Yeah, that flashed through my mind too.
And there was like, then when I saw it, they started panning. It was like, oh no, it's Wild Gunman.
Yeah.
But then it's not. I
It,
mean, I guess it is if you want to cosplay as one of the characters from that game.
yeah,
when
sure,
playing it.
sure, why not? I am the I'll be the guy with a huge beard. That's me. Um,
What did you think?
Initially, I was kind of like I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty excited about it. It looked like it presented a lot of neat gaming situations. Let's kind of try and explain what it is.
So this is like Nintendo's Wii Sports Nintendo Land, like their casual game. They always have their hardcore and then their casual game.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is a party game that you don't need the TV for, or you don't even really need to look at the screen, as long as you have like the Switch console itself. You really only look at it after the game is done. So you play the game entirely looking at the other player.
Right. Or in the case of eating contest, I guess you just take
You look
turns.
at I guess you're still watching the other player though,
Yeah.
pretending to eat.
But what it is, each player gets one of the Joy Cons, and they are presented with a situation where they need to. They're both presented with various game situations. So with Quick Draw, they both face each other with their controllers down, and when it says fire, then they both have to raise the controllers up and shoot their opponent. And winner is the first person who shoots.
And also hits them because it is calculating the aim. So if you press it too early, it will calculate that you shot into the ground.
Yeah, which I thought was really cool that it shows the exact like trajectory.
Yeah. I mean, I'm honestly, this looks really fun.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm being honest, like this is one I will be getting. So
Yeah. I want to describe a couple more of the games before we kind of get into my concerns.
okay.
Um,
They had the milking game.
which is just so uniquely weird. And
Yeah, so you have to like pull down, and at the same time you have to like squeeze the triggers in like a descending order, like you would be squeezing an udder.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to see how many imaginary buckets of milk you can get.
Yeah. In a set amount of time. And it's very weird, and it was. Gosh, I'm gonna have to backpedal a lot there. Is that helping? Rubbing it on your face. Is that good? Is that better? No.
She's like,
Do you want this? I'm gonna try to set them down now that she got this. It's one of her favorites.
so milking game. You were saying something about it.
It looks very much like a Nintendo game.
Very much.
Very very weird. There's copy dance.
Yeah, you have to strike. One player strikes a pose, and then like you have a set limit to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. So it kind of goes back and forth,
and then it switches back to the other player. So then the other player poses, and then the other player that started posing has to now copy.
Right. And that looks like a lot of fun.
The samurai training looked fun.
Yeah.
That was probably the one they should have shown off.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like because that has like a better. Like their whole thing is like you look into the eyes of the other player, and this is one I can definitely see that coming through because like one player has a sword and they're trying to hit the other player with it, and the other player has to stop it between their hands,
like a samurai would.
Yeah. But like they showed in the mini trailer for it that the other player was like kind of like pretending to swing to try and fake him out.
Yeah.
So I feel like you could have some fun messing with someone.
It's gonna be okay.
Promise. She said nope. What else? So in eating contest, you hold the remote up like you would be holding, like, I guess, a hot dog or a sub sandwich
Or a burrito.
or a burrito. Or a burrito. In the game, you're eating virtual sandwiches, but you can pretend it's a burrito.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's going to be an option to change what you're eating. If not, there should be.
They should have thought about that.
Yeah, they should have had us out on as the for council. But you hold it a few inches from your face, and it lets you know when it's like when it's close enough. And you hold it there with your mouth open, and when it says go, then you bite up and down like you're eating a sandwich really, really fast. And the goal is to try and eat as many sandwiches as you can.
Who at the treehouse played that?
I don't remember any of their names. I don't think Bill was with them. No, I mean, I don't think Nate was with them at the time.
Oh, okay.
He was probably off doing something else. He was
just Bill dwarfing around.
Yeah, just dwarfing around, just really dwarfing it up. So that's eating contest.
Did they show any other ones? Again, this is on you. I didn't watch to the end.
I'm trying to remember. There's quick draw, eating contest, milk, samurai sword.
They showed off table tennis, and I'm still not sure how that works.
Yeah. So this is one that, like, it kind of seems like it kind of helps to look at the screen, but I would have to play it in person to really get it. But you're basically smacking an invisible tennis ball back and forth, or ping pong ball, back and forth between each other, and the ball will change trajectory depending on how the person swings the controller, and so you can send it really high and it goes like a woo, so you can hear it going like up in the air, and you can hear how hard you're hitting it, and it's
so you're like just listening for the sound. Is that what the
it's not. I think that might be part of it, but it's mostly looking at what your opponent is doing and kind of countering it with your own move.
Okay. I'm not sure how well that one's going to work. I mean, if it works well, that could be a whole lot of fun. Because I'm terrible at real ping pong, but I think that's all they showed. I mean, there were a whole bunch of like little clips. Like there's some pirate treasure thing.
There's one where like the person runs to the crib with the switch in it.
Yeah, there's like some telephone game. So yeah, I mean, other than that, they didn't show off too much. There's still some surprises left. What were your concerns?
My concerns are, first of all, this isn't a pack-in, which to some extent I understand, because recently I found out part of the reasons that there aren't any pack-ins is to keep the cost of the system down, which I get, and I can be okay with that. It feels like it should be.
It really does. I mean, that was part of the big selling point for Wii Sports. Not so much Nintendo Land, although I feel like Nintendo Land was a better game than Wii Sports. But
Wii Sports was kind of like an all-inclusive game, though. Like, everybody got it. Everyone understood it.
Yeah, I feel it's going to be quite similar, though, with 1-2 Switch.
Yeah. My other concern is it, like, just from what we've seen, even with all the clips into consideration, like just the split-second clips, it doesn't seem like there are a whole lot of games, and this thing's going to cost $50.
Did you see the website?
No, I haven't seen like.
There's at least like 20 or so, but it might go up to like 30.
Yeah,
I don't remember. There was like a window you could open, and they showed like an image from each game. They're the ones like you couldn't watch the mini trailers for. So
yeah, I haven't seen that, but it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot. And for something like this, to be $50 feels kind of. I can't think of the word. It doesn't seem right.
I don't know. I think there could be a decent amount of them. It's really just going to be how long each one, like the replayability of each game.
Yeah, and I mean they look like fun.
They
Don't
really
get me
do.
wrong. This looks like a lot of fun.
I think it's also really neat that like they specifically made it so that you could take it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of like a party thing.
Yeah, I definitely can see like getting a bunch of people together and saying, "Hey, we're gonna play 1-2 switch," and and everyone getting excited for like, "Oh, can we play this game or let's do this one?"
Mm-hmm.
I definitely see that being it's a good party game. I don't know. It feels really pricey to have it at $50.
I think 40 would have been much more reasonable.
Mm-hmm. I could be okay with that.
Yeah, I mean 30 preferably, but
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we'll see. It sounds like Nintendo's going to be releasing information on these games on a fairly like almost weekly basis. Like
Yeah.
next week we have the Fire Emblem Direct coming up,
Mm-hmm.
and when they did this Nintendo Switch presentation, they said that they were gonna like look for more information in the coming weeks. So I feel like we're gonna get a pretty steady stream of announcements.
Yeah, and I think that's really important, especially considering the Switch launches in a couple of months.
Yeah, I think it was 48 days.
Just start marking your calendar.
Yeah.
Days till Switch. I don't think we mentioned it's releasing on March 3rd, so very, very, very early.
Yeah, earlier than we thought.
Mhm.
It's like such a Nintendo move. We were all thinking late March, so of course they made it early March.
Yeah, I'm very okay with that.
Mm-hmm. I'm fine waiting less time for it.
Yeah. Hello. So she just wanted to hang with us, crawl around.
So what did you think of Super Bomberman R?
I honestly didn't get a very good look at it. I think I missed I missed them playing it on the Treehouse.
Oh, okay.
Stream.
I watched their Treehouse stream on that one. So.
I did see the trailer for it. It doesn't feel like the trailer really did a good job of kind of showcasing what the game is about. Just from what I've seen, it looks like classic Bomberman.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. I watched the stream sold me on it. Like I wasn't sold on it just watching the trailer, but I think I'm gonna get this one just based on the Treehouse Live.
Well, since you know a little bit more about it, why don't you talk about it?
It's Bomberman. It does have an 8-player multiplayer.
Okay.
So eventually, if more friends start buying Switches, that might be a thing that happens at some point.
We'll have a Switch party.
Yeah.
One thing I thought was neat is that you can connect 8 systems.
Yeah, that's really cool.
To each other.
That's really neat.
Which kind of is reminiscent of back in the day when you and your friends could all hook up your original Xbox and have a LAN party.
Yeah.
And I think it's really neat, especially considering that this thing doesn't really it costs so little for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, $300 is a lot, but like considering what you're getting, like this is an entire console that you could just take on the go. It still blows my mind. I think that's part of the reason that I expected it to be a little larger than it actually is.
Was just to house all of the
all the power,
all the magical components inside.
It's they've really refined their Nintendium alloy.
And I think you mentioned it, but like it wasn't until like really after that like you really realize how great these games look.
Mm-hmm. Well, when they were showcasing the games in the Treehouse stream, it really because you didn't really get a good sense of how they played.
Mm-hmm.
The Treehouse stream, it really did a good job of like showing what it's like to play each game, and they just look like a genuine blast.
Mm-hmm. I don't think we can get any further into that without talking about the rest of the games. So, what did you think of the Breath of the Wild trailer?
Oh gosh.
Where do you start with that trailer?
Where do you start? The voice acting. I've heard people all over talking about about it, and I have to say it too. Having voice acting changes up the way a game feels tremendously.
And this game looked so much more cinematic too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it started off looking like the normal like nature trailers that they've been showing before, like just showing new landscapes and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then it just went into full blown story trailer with like emotional moments and like huge explosions, robots.
Mm-hmm.
Zelda robots. That's
It's really cool. Gosh, how to start? It introduced, like you said, a bit of kind of a story element. There's a thing. It starts off by saying like the history of the royal family is the same as the history of the Calamity Ganon.
mm-hmm.
And it's not saying the Calamity Ganon, like the Calamity Ganon is an entity.
So is this like a new form, like in the way that I just lost Phantom Ganon?
I think it's a different thing entirely. And
It's still a pig though.
well,
I like that.
But
it's like it's a flying like demon pig.
yeah, but now
made
it's
out
like
of smoke.
Yeah, it's a pig miasma floating over the castle and kind of surrounding it.
Yeah.
They showed off a lot of different characters.
Yeah, a lot of different species too.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of like redesigned like some of the Zora look.
I love it.
Yeah, I do
love
too.
it. I love it so much.
We got to see more of the Kokiri,
Mm-hmm.
which they had shown like in the first time they showed off the game. So
Yeah, I don't remember that from the first time they showed it off, but when I saw that, I was like, that's the little wooden guys from Wind Waker. It's them.
they showed them off. They were on the plateau, like they were some of the. I think they helped with some like training early on, during the live stream that they did at E3 last year.
I must have missed it.
That was like early on when they showed them. So.
And I think I've mentioned this before, but I haven't seen all of the. I haven't seen all of like the early footage.
I mean, I
that they've shown.
wouldn't watch it now just because we're so close to release.
At this point, that footage is kind of obsolete.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this game just looks gorgeous. I can't get over the art style.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that perfect, like it's very similar to Skyward Sword, but also very different.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like this was what Skyward Sword was trying to do.
It looks like they took the shading engine for
Wind Waker.
for Wind Waker and just like gave everything more polygons and more detailed textures.
Because did you see some of the original concept art where they put like a Toon Link head on a more adult body?
I didn't see
it. Was so disturbing. Oh my word.
That sounds like a some kind of weird fan art. It's like, hey, Toon Link's head, but you've got like the super muscle buff Link.
Just like superimposed on the Wubba Dubba Dubba Is That True body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where
were we going with that?
I don't know where we were going. Art style.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
Also music. Because like we really haven't heard. It's been like they said that the game will be more natural, so there's not going to be as many like huge scores as there were.
Yeah.
But it looks like for the story moments, we're going to get some pretty impressive music.
Yeah. And I think I don't remember too much. I don't remember too much detail because I was focusing more on the gameplay. I think in some of the like in the shrines, I think there's a little bit of music that plays.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think the game is going to be devoid of.
Oh no,
music.
no! But they want you to focus more on like the sounds of nature.
Mm-hmm. Which makes sense that you're kind of playing in a ruined post-apocalyptic world.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say this is an interesting way for the series to go. It's post-apocalyptic, but it's still very kind of medieval fantasy.
Mm-hmm. With a lot of Wind Waker vibes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I feel like the game is paying more homage to the to Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess.
Mm-hmm.
Story-wise.
Yeah. And what about the tree? They didn't really show off the tree too much.
I'm assuming this is going to be the sun that we saw in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really certain because they haven't. We never really got a good glimpse.
No,
of
they
it.
started to pan up and then cut to the next scene,
Mhm.
and I think that was
Which-
intentional.
Yeah, I think that implies that something about the tree visually is very significant.
It's got an eye patch.
Arg! I be the tree from the seven seas. What if this is Wind Waker after everything's dried up?
That could be interesting. I mean, you know my feelings on Wind Waker and how it's my favorite Zelda game, so
Yeah.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah, being able to go to some of those places, but like,
I mean, they like I don't know. It might be somewhere like somewhat similar world size, but like Wind Waker had all the smaller islands, so
I'm really interested to see how this, how the world kind of matches everything that we've seen before, like the layout of everything, just to see like where it fits, because like Hyrule Castle has always kind of had like a different layout, but like certain games like in Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker, like the field leading up to the castle is the same, so you know it's kind of like the same area. And I think there was a little bit of that in Twilight Princess, where it was somewhat similar, but the town was different.
yeah. I'm trying to remember now how that. I guess it was like surrounded on all sides by field. So I don't know. It's always weird because the Zelda games are never like they're supposed to take place in like similar areas, but they always look visually different.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like how the Mushroom Kingdom changes every game.
Yeah. Speaking of the Mushroom Kingdom, what do you think of New Donk City?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We're still going in order here.
Not quite
so
there.
So we can keep on track. Snipper clips. That looks so fun.
I'm super excited about Snipper Clips.
That looks so much fun.
When is that one coming out?
March. Why that wouldn't be at launch is beyond me, but
Maybe they just need a little more time to work on it. I don't know.
like a few more days. I don't know how the development works fully, but it just seems weird to me that I'm not sure how we can describe this game that's going to make sense.
Okay. So
I mean, I would recommend just going and watching a video.
I'm gonna try.
Okay, good luck.
Because did you see them playing it in the
Yes,
stream?
I did.
Okay.
Yes. That's what, because there's not a trailer for it, so the only way to watch, there should be. It's so close to release.
Yeah. So Snipper Clips is a game. It's a puzzle game. It's a two-player co-op game. It looks like it doesn't look like there's a single player, and I don't see how there could be.
Yeah, you couldn't snip.
So each player controls a kind of a sort of elongated semicircle type character. There's kind of like a yellowy orange and then a pink character. And they've had like these cute little faces and these little like stick legs with boots.
I love their facial expressions.
I love it. And, like everything that they do and everything that they like bump into or like around, it's like they make some kind of expression or reaction.
Or like
to.
when they're like being snipped. Like sometimes they'll look happy about it, and other times they're like freaking out.
So snipping. When your characters overlap, then the space that they the space that they overlap, like either. I hope that's just the light and not the power going out.
Well, wouldn't that go out because that's plugged in?
Yeah.
So I think that's. Well, you have lights in back of you.
I think it's just that light bulb because we've had another light bulb go out.
In that.
And they're like those super fancy ones that aren't supposed to die.
Oh, yeah, it's like you can have these for like 5 years or something.
We've had them for a couple of months. Most light bulbs last like years. Anyway.
Those things are garbage.
Anyway.
Overlapping areas.
So the overlapping space can be snipped out of the other player to create different shapes, and you can rotate your character's body so that they can change the shape of it. And the goal of the game is to try and like alter each other's shapes so that you can accomplish certain goals. So like maybe there's like a button, but it's like kind of in it's like hidden, like it's recessed inside a wall. So you need to kind of thin yourself down so that you can reach in there and press it. And then like you need to have one player change into kind of a hook shape so that you can like jump up and pull something down. And there was one part where they needed to get a basketball from one side of the screen into the other and slam dunk it into a hoop.
Did they ever do it?
Yeah, they did. They did manage to do it, but
it just took forever.
Yeah, they eventually figured it out. They had the one person standing on top of the other character, and they lowered their round end into the flat part of the other character's body. And they basically snipped a scoop shape into the top of them, and they were able to get the ball into that and eventually get it over to the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so charming, and the puzzles look like a lot of fun. And I don't see why this isn't a launch game. It has to be.
It should be. I mean, the games we're talking about now are going to be just generally March.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I mean, could some of these games be launch games?
Absolutely.
I feel like they should be.
Yeah.
Because, like, other than that, the Switch, like, this is one of the worst launch lineups in history. It's like Zelda, and then that's it. So.
Yeah. I think more than anything, though, like, the promise of what is coming is solid. Yeah.
I think that was pretty much it about Snipper Clips. Right?
Yeah, they showed off a lot of promising games, so I'm really excited for the future of the system. I think coming out with Legend of Zelda first thing, and then like not too far down the line, having what else do we have coming?
Well, I was just gonna finish out the month of March. Fast RMX. So that's I think that's just like the remixed version of Fast Racing Neo.
Mm-hmm.
So, which could be cool because you did not get a chance to play it, right? I mean, you played it on my Wii U.
Yeah, I played a little bit of it.
I don't know if it has any new content. They didn't announce any of that. I Am Setsuna, which is the new Square RPG that came out on PS4 last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a Chrono Trigger-esque game.
Okay.
I
literally know nothing about it
okay.
other than the title.
If you saw kind of like a top-down RPG, I don't know if you saw that in the...
I remember
sizzle
I remember seeing like it was all done in 3D, but it was done in the style of like a top-down RPG. So like I specifically the battle system.
Yeah, because
like,
it had that kind of like it didn't go into a separate battle system. Like the enemies were still on the map, like in Chrono Trigger. That's I Am Setsuna.
Okay.
So I've heard good things about it. So I didn't get a chance to play it. I wanted to on PS4, but.
The secret is that it turns out that you were Setsuna all
I don't know the name. I don't understand what the name means at the moment, but it has been Heroes.
They played that on the live stream.
I have zero interest in that.
I wanted to try and say that I was at least a little bit interested. I think it's
I'm just the open pessimist here. So.
The open pessimist. It didn't really look like something that I would be too much into.
I thought I would because it's by Frozen Byte, the people who did the Trine games,
Uh-huh.
and I love those games so much.
Yeah.
But this didn't look interesting. Like I love the setup. Like it's these like heroes that like were great heroes back in their day, and now like they're just trying to get their daughters to school.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally the whole setup. But the gameplay just didn't look good to me.
Yeah. It honestly felt too much like every roguelike that has come out in the last few years.
It looked like a mobile game, to be honest.
Yeah.
Which I'm not saying is a terrible thing, but for a console game.
I'd honestly have to get my hands on it and actually play it. But just from watching them play it, I didn't really get it. So it's not really high on my interest.
All right, so I think we're going to stop here and then do a part 2 so that people aren't listening for a long time.
Yeah, I think this is a good point to stop because we have a couple of tech issues here. So hopefully we could sort those out. And
Yeah,
we'll
so
be
part
back.
2 we'll be talking about all the really, really big games outside of Breath of the Wild.
Yes, very exciting. Clover's so excited she's shoving you off the couch about it. She says, "Make way, because there's so." Anyway.
All right, so hopefully you guys join us for part 2.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you in part 2. QGP. All right. So we had a little bit of a hiccup there, but probably aren't hearing about it right now. So I don't remember really where I was going with about the launch games. So I guess we'll just kind of leave that part out.
I like how we're like admitting mistakes
But
and stuff, but it's like I can just edit all of that out.
Yeah.
So
we screwed up, but you wouldn't know.